My name is Victor Tiffany. I'm the co-founder of Revolt Against Plutocracy and the instigator of the Bernie or Bust pledge movement that has the Democrats very, very concerned. Apparently, no one recorded and posted online my speech at the Bernie or Bust rally in Philadelphia. So I want to get my statements recorded and shared online because I have some very important things that I said during that rally. First and foremost, I thanked everyone who was there. They were applauding me. I wanted to applaud them. They built this movement. If it wasn't for them going out and recruiting more people to take the Bernie or Bust pledge, we wouldn't have been there. Nothing would have happened. It would have been a stillborn idea. But they built this movement. Many of them contributed to our super PAC, Citizens Against Plutocracy PAC, which made that rally possible. That's how we afforded the sound system. That's what allowed us to pay for the warning we had on the highway between the airport and downtown Philadelphia, telling the Democrats, and specifically the superdelegates, exactly where we stand. So we appreciate their support. We applaud them. They, you, all Bernie or Busters are leaders. You're revolutionaries. We're not following Bernie Sanders into the corporate neoliberal Democratic Party fold. We are revolutionaries. We will continue the revolution forward without Senator Sanders. So we thank them very much. After a few chants of this is what revolution looks like, I went ahead and showed people the letter that volunteers in the Bernie or Bust Army printed out, signed, stuffed into an envelope, and snail mailed to over 95% of the superdelegates. It tells them very clearly, Trump will be the next president of the United States unless they nominate Bernie Sanders, because Bernie or Bust is not party unity my ass from 8 years ago. It's a revolutionary commitment, a pledge. We're not going to vote for any other candidate coming out of the Democratic Party other than Bernie Sanders, period. It also warned them that we have a super PAC and we're going to take the gloves off. During the primary season, we kept the limits on the super PAC to $1,000 per person in order to, out of respect for Senator Sanders' opposition to super PACs. But now that he's not the nominee, the gloves are coming off. So we warned them that what we were going to do. And they went ahead and nominated Hillary Clinton anyway, either because they're closer ideologically, these superdelegates, to Donald Trump, a corporation, than they are to Bernie Sanders, a democratic socialist. We believe that's true. They are corporate tools. Trump's a corporation. Or the system's just rigged, right? It doesn't matter who we vote for, or who votes for what next November 8th. The voting machines are rigged. Hillary Clinton's going to be the next president of the United States, no matter what we do. And everything between now and then, the next 99 days, is just a farce. It's a show, right? To make it seem like we have a democratic system. We don't. Not at all. This letter that we sent them serves a second purpose. This puts the responsibility for President Trump on the superdelegates, not the Bernie or Bust movement. We can vote any way we want. This is our get out of the two-party prison free card. No matter what state you're in, you can vote your conscience in all 50 states. Because if for some reason the system isn't rigged and Trump does end up being the next president, that's on the superdelegates. They chose to lose. They chose to divide the Democratic Party and lose the general election against the Republican opponent rather than nominating Bernie Sanders. That's on them. This is our letter of liberation. We are now free to go around the country voting our conscience. In other words, they blew it. If you read the media, they would have you believe that Bernie or Bust is about staying home on November 8th if Bernie Sanders is not the nominee coming out of the nomination. That's not true. Staying home is not cool. It's not hip. It's not being ironic. It is being played by the corporatists shoving corporate order down our throats. There's only one thing to do if you're a revolutionary on November 8th. That's get out and vote for a revolutionary candidate. And at this point, Jill Stein is the last revolutionary left standing. The media would have you believe that Bernie or Bust movement is a millennial movement. We don't have a lot of demographic information on this other than the likes on our Facebook page. Only 20% of those likes come from people under the age of 35. Most of us are Gen Xers or baby boomers. And I believe that's because we remember the first Clinton administration. Bill Clinton gave us NAFTA, which screwed millions of people out of their jobs, outsourced to Mexico. Bill Clinton gave us the crime bill, which put hundreds of thousands of black and brown men into prison, ruining their lives. Bill Clinton gave us welfare reform, which threw hundreds of thousands of poor women and children into deep, severe poverty. And Bill Clinton gave us Wall Street deregulation, which ultimately led to the Great Recession of 2008. All this at the time with the full-throated support of Hillary Clinton. Bill and Hillary Clinton are neoliberals. They are not our friends. They are not with us. They are against us. And we are against them. Bernie or Bust is not about voting for Trump. That's a temper tantrum. That's not an act of revolution. Bernie or Bust started out as a write-in campaign, a national write-in campaign, which we promoted extensively on Facebook. We got a lot of pushback. We always had an answer for anything anyone criticized us for. We had an answer for the Sanders supporters who were worried that we'd get a Republican in the White House. We had an answer for the Clinton-crats who accused us of being right-wingers. But we started seeing criticisms coming out of California, not once or twice, but 3 times, pointing out that writing in a candidate who's not registered with the state as such would lead to that ballot being thrown out on the floor, not counted, eliminating all those down ballot votes. And we realized, oh crap, this is a really bad idea. That was in late December last year. And we spent 2 weeks on the committee trying to figure out what we were going to do about this. Were we going to go change it to Bernie or Green 2016? What, you know, we couldn't just ignore this problem. And finally, we came up with a compromise. We added or vote Green to the pledge. Well, as of today, write-in is off the table. It's a bad idea, even in the 10 states where it won't get your ballot thrown out. It will still be a protest vote. If you want to protest, you can do that 365 days a year. But you can only cast a revolutionary vote once every 4 years at the executive branch of government. Don't waste your effort, your opportunity to cast a revolutionary vote on November 8th. Maybe you don't like Jill Stein. Maybe you don't like the Green Party. That's fine. We're not telling you how to vote. We're telling you our suggestions, what our strategy is. So vote for a Socialist Party candidate. Vote for a Progressive Party candidate. But don't vote for Hillary Clinton. She's a dangerous and revolting plutocrat, much like Donald Trump. As of today, we are hashtag Jill or Bust, because the superdelegates chose chose Hillary Clinton. They chose a revolting plutocrat, and we are not with her. We are against her. Many of Bernie's supporters are indicating to pollsters that they're going to vote for Governor Johnson, the Libertarian candidate. Well, it's important to understand that Johnson, Clinton, and Trump all support hydrofracking. Forget what's in the platform, the Democratic Party platform. She's not against fracking. She's sold fracking around the world, and she's going to continue to do so. That's one of the knives she's going to use to stab her supporters in the back, the fracking knife. So any of those 3 candidates will lead to coastal cities around the world being underwater next century. There's really only one rational choice left if we're going to have the green revolution this planet desperately needs, and that's Jill Stein. It's just reason and responsibility. And speaking of responsibility, we must vote Bernie or bust, Jill or bust responsibly. And what that means is, in the U.S. Senate, we need a bulwark against President Trump in case these superdelegates ended up leading to a divided party, which does end up electing Donald Trump. We need a bulwark against Trump in the U.S. Senate, and that will be vote blue no matter who. We need to turn the Senate blue, with one exception. That's Margaret Flowers in Maryland, the Green Party candidate for the U.S. Senate. For every other seat that's open, blue no matter who. However, in the House, we take out our revenge. We express our anger. We clean house of all those dirtbags that endorsed Hillary Clinton. That leaves two safe incumbents, the chairman of the Progressive Caucus. They're the only two who endorsed Bernie Sanders. For all the rest, vote Green, vote Progressive Party, vote Socialist Party. In my House race, there's only two candidates. The Republican that I'm not going to vote for, and a challenger who endorsed Bernie Sanders. I'm sorry, who endorsed Hillary Clinton. So I'm going to leave that line blank. That's where I protest. That's where I, if you will, stay home. I'm just going to leave that line blank unless a Green Party candidate pops up between now and November, in which case I will vote Green or Socialist or anything that's out there, but I'm not going to vote for the challenger because he endorsed Hillary Clinton. We're cleaning the House out of the dirtbags, of the pseudo-progressives who endorsed a neoliberal for president. I can't explain the entire history of the Bernie or bust movement, but there is a moment, the genesis of this movement, that's worth sharing. It stemmed from a conversation last April on a street corner in Ithaca, New York, where a friend of mine asked me, what about a write-in campaign? At the time, I thought that was a good idea. But the beautiful point about this, it occurred at the intersection of Meadow Street and, I'm not making this up, the very end of Clinton Street. Those who claim that what we're doing is going to put a bigot in the White House, you just tell them to go to HillaryAntisemitism.com and you let them know we're not going to vote for the lesser of two bigots. Senator Sanders is going to create a progressive organization to work within the Democratic Party. But we've seen this before. Jesse Jackson created Rainbow Push. Jerry Brown, We the People. Dennis Kucinich, the Progressive Democrats of America. Howard Dean, Democracy for America. And Obama has his Organizing for America. What have they done for us lately? None of those progressive organizations could stop the fast track to corporate dystopia, the bill, the Trade Promotion Authority that went through Congress last year. There was not a progressive organization in the country that supported that bill. There was not a union in the country that supported that bill. But guess who did? Hillary Clinton. Because she's not progressive. She's a neoliberal. The Democratic Party is a hospice where progressive organizations go to die. People talk about the lesser of two evils. We reject that whole argument. We are beyond good and evil. Think about it. Trump supporters think Hillary Clinton's evil. Clinton supporters think Trump's evil. Bernie or busters believe both of them are dangerous and revolting plutocrats. Trump is way more revolting. We believe Hillary Clinton is more dangerous for two very important reasons. First of all, she's the hawk's hawk. She's a warmonger. She's John McCain in a pantsuit. And if that's not bad enough, FBI Director Comey points out she's extremely careless with classified information. And if that's not bad enough, how many times does a candidate for the White House have to say, I made a mistake, I made a mistake, oh, I made another mistake, before it dawns on you that this is not the person you want as the commander-in-chief? Trump is actually running to her left in foreign policy. I don't trust him either, but they're both dangerous. We think Hillary Clinton is slightly more dangerous than Trump in foreign policy, but that's not the reason she's overall more dangerous than Trump. Hillary Clinton supports these free trade agreements. She claims she's against the Trans-Pacific Partnership, but she promoted it 45 times. And now she's against it for the very reasons she called it the gold standard when she was Secretary of State. We don't believe her when she says she's against it. We know Bernie Sanders is against it because he says so. He's always been against these things, and he's honest. Hillary Clinton has always been for these things, and she's dishonest. So we believe the Trans-Pacific Partnership is the name of the very first knife she's going to use to stab in the back of her supporters. Everyone who votes for her will be stabbed in the back by the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This so-called free trade agreement is a Trojan horse for the imposition of corporate-crafted rules and regulations upon our legislators at the local level, at the state level, at the national level, tying their hands and preventing them from regulating the behavior of foreign-based corporations operating here in the United States. This is very serious. If the Trans-Pacific Partnership goes through Congress in the lame duck session of Congress this year, and President Clinton puts it into motion, it won't matter who we vote for when it comes to regulating corporate behavior in the United States. Libertarian, Green, Democrat, Republican, they'll all have their hands tied by these rules and regulations. Research online the 14 characteristics of fascism. The 9th characteristic of fascism is the protection of corporate power. No doubt, Donald Trump will protect corporate power. But these so-called free trade agreements, this Trans-Pacific Partnership, is the 9th characteristic of fascism on steroids. These neoliberals pushing this thing are corporate fascists. Hillary Clinton is a corporate fascist because she has no problem with these corporate crafted rules and regulations. That's not the reason she opposed the Trans-Pacific Partnership. She's A-okay with this. And if that's not bad enough, the TPP includes a whole set of corporate imposed rights, property rights, that'll bump up against our rights. It is Citizens United on crack. Think about it. Citizens United came from the Supreme Court. It was a bad decision, but at least they had authorization of the Supreme Court, court legitimacy. The TPP has none of that. The corporations are just writing up these new rights and asserting them through these so-called free trade agreements. Again, Hillary Clinton didn't oppose the TPP because of that. She's A-okay with corporate rights. And if that's not bad enough, these rules and these rights and these regulations are going to be enforced by tribunals that function like a legalized corporate version of a criminal protection racket. Think about it. A criminal syndicate will tell a business owner, your company is going to be burned to the ground next Saturday if you don't start making protection payments to us. We'll make sure it doesn't burn down. We just need regular payments. The Obama administration, to their credit, blocked the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline. TransCanada, the company that was going to build that pipeline, is now suing we the people. That's who they sue. When they sue our government, they're suing us. They're suing we the people under the NAFTA tribunal system for $15 billion. Thank you, Bill Clinton. Thanks for warning us what's coming down the pike, because we know what the Clintons are about. If they win that case before the NAFTA tribunal, we're all going to have to make protection payments to them to protect the aquifer that would have been underneath the pipeline if they had constructed it. And that's still not the reason why Hillary Clinton is more dangerous than Donald Trump. Trump's Supreme Court nominees will eventually die off. Their Supreme Court decisions, but no doubt bad decisions, will eventually get overturned, because the U.S., the United States, is a progressive nation and fits and spurts we move forward. And if not, we'd still have slavery. We'd still have child labor. But this country is a progressive country. And those decisions, just like Citizens United, will be overturned sooner or later. However, the Trans-Pacific Partnership has no exit language. There's no way out other than some kind of future American Brexit, which will disrupt the financial markets and the world economy, just like Brexit did. So the best way to avoid the TPP is to make sure Hillary Clinton never sees the inside of the White House. She is, because of her support for these corporate fascistic free trade agreements, she's more dangerous than Donald Trump. She's a corporate fascist. He's a racist fascist. What kind of choice is that between a corporate fascist and a racist fascist? That's not democracy. That's fascism. But we have the freedom to vote our conscience because the superdelegates decided they don't care if Donald Trump is the next president. And if they don't care, you shouldn't either. Vote your conscience in November. It's a 50-state strategy. And I know there's people out there arguing against that, not just Tom Hartman, a Democrat, but even Noam Chomsky wants us to vote the lesser of two dangerous, revolting plutocrats in swing states. But that's the same policy that has moved the Democratic Party further and further to the right. That benefits nobody. This year, we draw a line in the sand. This year, it's Jill or bust. We have a license to Jill, and we are packing heat. The pack is Citizens Against Plutocracy. And we're going to raise money, and we're going to run ads against Hillary Clinton in swing states, just as we promised the superdelegates we were going to. We are united against Trump and Hillary Clinton. The Democrats, the superdelegates, ended up choosing Trump rather than Bernie Sanders. That was their choice, not ours. It was so appropriate that we had that rally in Thomas Paine Plaza. Because Thomas Paine said, we have it within our power to begin the world over again. We do. All we have to do is break out of the two-party prison, and we are. This is our letter of liberation. We have the power to begin the world over again. It's going to be Jill or bust. The superdelegates chose their way. We're going to choose our way. Bernie Sanders says, don't listen to him. He endorsed Hillary Clinton. That doesn't mean you have to vote for her. And we're not going to. We're coming after her. And we appreciate your support in our effort to do so. Thank you for your time.